That was an incredibly abrupt and unjust end for poor Meg. Barbara Payton's agent should have lobbied for a final gasping close-up or something. But then the truly unfortunate exit is when Lloyd Bridges leaves the picture. Switching focus to Jack Sylvester just doesn't work. He might be the puniest Mr. Big I've ever seen in a movie. I can't confirm it because it's nearly impossible to find production files for Eagle Lion movies, but I've heard the ending was altered after Lloyd Bridges fell ill and couldn't finish the production. That would make sense, since Brian Foy was not the kind of producer to spend money waiting for a star to recover. He just moved things around, kill the leading lady instead, call it a wrap. Trapped was the first major role for 22-year-old Barbara Lee Redfield, who worked under the name Barbara Payton. Back in 1944, she'd married decorated fighter pilot John Payton, and the couple moved to Los Angeles so he could study at USC on the GI Bill. Barbara helped pay their way, working as a model. Within a few years, despite a newborn baby, the high life around LA proved too enticing to this young mother. She became a fixture at Sunset Strip clubs, sort of a 40s equivalent of today's celebrities who are notable for being notable. One guy who took note was Universal executive Bill Getz, who signed Payton to a contract despite her having no resume at all. She'd only played a couple of bit parts before Dick Fleischer cast her in Trapped. Her next picture was a huge step up, co-starring with Jimmy Cagney in the 1951 Warner Brothers thriller Kiss Tomorrow, Goodbye. And she is terrific in it, more than holding her own in the Virginia Mayo role in what was Cagney's follow-up to the popular White Heat. The star's brother, producer William Cagney, was so entranced with Payton, he paid her $5,000 a week. Insane money back then for somebody with only 3 film credits. But then, Barbara Payton was a fast worker. Off-screen, she cut a sexual swath through Hollywood, claiming to have had affairs with George Raft, Howard Hughes, John Ireland, Bob Hope, Guy Madison, Steve Cochran, Woody Strode, to name only a few, women included. The one that stuck was Francho Tone, to whom she was engaged in 1951. That didn't stop her, however, from carrying on a combustible affair with Tom Neal, the B-movie hunk who was Payton's voracious equal in sexual appetite. When Tone caught them together, Neal administered a beating that fractured Tone's skull and put him in a coma for 18 hours. Yet, Tone forgave his beloved Barbara, and later the same year they were married in her hometown of Cloquet, Minnesota. But Payton couldn't lay off the clandestine cavorting with Tom Neal, and the following year, Tone filed for divorce. From there, Payton and Neal plunged into a vortex of sex and booze that pretty much finished off their Hollywood careers. They did roadshow theater together, including a stage version of The Postman Always Rings Twice, selling tickets based entirely on their salacious notoriety. Now, Payton got only a few more film offers, mostly in England. The Flanagan Boy, made there in 1953, was retitled Bad Blonde for American audiences to exploit her infamy. Now, if you've been keeping track, all this happened within a 3-year span that included her making Bride of the Gorilla with Raymond Burr. And to pull her life together, Payton dropped out of the business entirely, marrying a furniture store owner and moving to Nogales, Arizona. It didn't take. She was back in LA by the end of the 50s, a full-fledged drug and alcohol abuser, passing forged checks and being busted for solicitation on Sunset Boulevard. In 1963, she accepted $1,000 to drunkenly dictate her tell-all autobiography, I Am Not Ashamed. After reading it, Barbara Stanwyck reportedly said, well, she damn well should be. Offered to try at rehab, Payton said, I'd rather drink and die. So she moved to San Diego to live with her parents, both raging alcoholics. And that's where she got her wish on May 8, 1967, dying of heart and liver failure at 39 years of age. I told you it was a sordid story. I don't kid around about these things. Now, if you want to discuss Trapped or Barbara Payton or the nice thread sported by Lloyd Bridges and John Hoyt, you know where to go. Our dark little corner of Facebook and Twitter. Next week, I'll be back with a fictional tale of lust, jealousy, and existential ennui, starring Barbara Stanwyck, Robert Ryan, and the young actress who beat Barbara Payton for a plum role in The Asphalt Jungle, Marilyn Monroe. That one is no B picture. It's Clash by Night, written by Clifford Odets and directed by Fritz Lang. See you next week.